The other day I was watching X-Men Dark Phoenix. It was pretty rough.
And by the way, the women are always saving the men around here. You might want to think about changing the name to X-Women.
But amidst the derailing of the franchise I once loved, there was a surprisingly decent finale where various superpowered beings fought on a train. And that got me thinking of all the great moments in movies that feature crazy intent.
Crazy intent means loco voting!
For about as long as there have been movies, there have been trains in them. There are so many, it's hard to keep track. They elevate standard fights and heists by adding an element of danger and unpredictability. But there are a certain few that will leave you with tunnel vision. And since a friend asked me to do a video on training montages, may as well kill two birds with one stone. All aboard! Here are the 5 best train sequences in movies. Number 5. We may as well start with the superhero entry, because it only gets more insane from here on out. Adding superpowers to an already dangerous situation leads to some excellent cinematic creativity, whether the aforementioned train battle royale in X-Men Dark Phoenix, or the creative and New York endearing sequences from Tobey Maguire's Spider-Mans. Spider-Men? Whatever. But one of these movies made a mountain out of an anthill. 2015's Ant-Man. In a movie with no shortage of creative scenes, one stood an inch above the others. Here, a hero and a villain who have the ability to shrink while maintaining their strength find themselves in a high-stakes battle on a toy train set, giving us the most inventive use of Thomas the Tank Engine outside of Skyrim mods. I don't think this is what they meant by how to train your dragon. It works doubly well by giving the stakes of a normal movie train fight and the reality of a child's train set, culminating in, well, exactly what you'd think. And that creativity, combined with surprisingly good tension, leads to it being the best superhero train sequence. Sorry, Toby. Number 4. In 1996, Hollywood was given a difficult task, if they chose to accept it: bringing Mission Impossible to the big screen. It follows an agent played by Tom Cruise whose team is killed on a mission, leaving him framed for their deaths, and having to clear his name through a series of tasks that seem, well, impossible. It culminates with his former team leader, played by Jon Voight, being revealed as the mastermind behind the whole thing. And what better way to settle this than with a train-top battle traveling through the channel, with a helicopter chase for good measure. While pursuing Voight escaping a moving train via helicopter for reasons, Cruise manages to hook the helicopter to the train and force it into the channel. One would think this would end in an immediate crash, but luckily the pilot is a professional. The scene is unsurprisingly mostly just them trying to hold on for dear life, with a bit of amateur surgery thrown in for good measure. But then the classic theme song pops in and gives us the most exciting gum action sequence ever put to film. This movie served as a transitionary movie for multiple actors. For Tom Cruise, it showed his evolution from boyish leading man to action star. And for Jon Voight, it served as his transition from Oscar-winning acting powerhouse to evil coaches, scenery chew-chewing villains, and patriotic roles that make one ask if the lady doth protest too much.
It was the World Trade Center.
And while the subsequent movies in the series somehow managed to become more audacious and hazardous to our national stores of Tom Cruise, the first movie's nail-biting ending remains one of its standout moments, with everyone relating to that poor train conductor. Taking a quick break on our journey to send the cart through to ask for likes, comments, subscriptions. Really, they'd help the channel grow and I'd be very appreciative. So once it's done, please comment below and let me know whatever you thought of this. And now, back to the journey. Number 3. So, you were impressed by that Tom Cruise scene? Allow me to remind you that Jackie Chan exists. And in Supercop, they used all those elements, but added a motorcycle and took away the green screen. Here we have a Hong Kong Supercop played by Jackie Chan teaming up with the Chinese police force's Interpol director played by Michelle Yeoh. And that's all the plot we need. They end up chasing a helicopter to a train, and action ensues. And to prove he's serious, he starts the whole sequence by falling ass first into an entire car full of durian. Damn, dude. Do you remember how in the movie the producers, they wanted to make a flop to cheat investors? Well, watching Jackie Chan movies, you get the feeling that the producers want to kill Jackie to collect the insurance money. They never succeed. This scene is a wonder to behold and has a feeling of real danger. Partially because, as is tradition, the end credits have bloopers and behind-the-scenes moments to show that, yeah, safety's 7th. And scenes like this make you understand why Michelle Yeoh found herself at a crossroads and went, you know what? Playing a geisha teacher sounds pretty damn good. If you haven't seen this movie, conduct yourself accordingly, drink 2 Red Bull, and load it up. And chase it with something calm, like Fury Road. Number 2. If there's one character that keeps finding himself in awesome train sequences, it's James Bond. But we're going to take a look at a different Sean Connery role that blows all of those away. 1978's The Great Train Robbery is exactly what it says on the tin. Set during the Crimean War, it follows a charismatic thief and his crew as they attempt to steal the military payroll. What follows is a cat-and-mouse game where every advantage the heroes get, the forces of law and order make it more difficult.
No respectable gentleman is that respectable.
Only for there to be yet another counter.
Find me a dead cat.
And it's a lot of tense fun along the way.
My dear chap, officer, are you alright?
But for the climax, it picks up ahead of steam, as Sean Connery must travel across the top of a moving train to unlock the doors from the outside, with a time limit and a need to maintain an alibi. And there's a level of danger you have to appreciate, because sometimes it seems like they didn't entirely plan everything out before filming. Fun fact, this was written and directed by Michael Crichton, the guy who wrote Jurassic Park. Notice any subtle inklings of this in these clips? And it does have the best rationale for why someone would do such a heinous crime.
I wanted the money.
Number 1. Sometimes, despite the best intentions, a movie can just not be what an audience wants. On paper, one would think that reuniting the director and star of one of the biggest action franchises of all time with a property everyone has heard of would have been a slam dunk. But sadly, this was not the case with The Lone Ranger. Well-intentioned but unfortunate casting of Johnny Depp as Tonto and Western fatigue led to this being a bomb, both critically and commercially. But this movie did get an unfair shake.
I buried you.
As Quentin Tarantino put it, "Then comes the train scene. Incredible! When I saw it, I kept thinking, what, this is the film everybody says is crap? Seriously?" And yeah, this is hands down the best train sequence ever put to film. Everything that could possibly happen, happens during this climactic chase scene, and then more. It follows the heroes as they attempt to intercept the villains on a train carrying Silver, who are holding hostages. You may think that a guy riding a horse on a train firing silver bullets would be the peak of cartooniness, but then they break out the ladders, and it keeps going. All the while, an extended version of the second best use of the William Tell Overture in film plays triumphantly, with excellent conducting by Hans Zimmer to make it even more intense. And the score lines up perfectly. And I know, red face. Even well-intentioned red face is bad. But this movie is still worth bringing back from the dead. It literally and figuratively goes off the rails. And with that, last stop. We have arrived at the end of our journey. Thanks for joining. Feel free to tip with a like, subscribe, or a comment. And I hope you enjoy your destination, whichever you may choose to watch. Until next time, stay safe and binge well.